Good morning, everyone. Pastor Mike here. Well, it's Wednesday, and we are continuing in our series, Boiling Point Leader. What does it look like to be a next level leader? And we're talking about some things that we can implement into our leadership so that we can raise the bar in our leadership, to take that extra measure, that extra degree of our leadership. And so far, we have looked at servant leadership. Last week, we looked at attitude. Today, we're going to talk about commitment. And what does commitment look like in the life of a leader? And so in order to unpack that for the next few minutes, we really have to define what commitment is. Well, commitment is a dedication to a particular cause or organization or ministry or company or person or whatever it is that you're committed to. And not only is it a dedication to that, but there's a willingness to get involved. So commitment is the dedication and a willingness to be involved in that with that dedication. And so when we look at people who are committed to an organization or a ministry or an event or whatever they're committed to, they see it as truly important. And when somebody sees something as truly important, what do? Well, they show up, first of all, they follow through, and then they stick with it. So when they do those things, man, they're able to see whatever it is they're committed to the end. And here's the cool part. As leaders, the more people that we have committed to our ministry, the greater the momentum that can be generated to get the job done, to carry out the vision, if you will. And that comes by having a clear and concise vision. So part of your responsibility as a leader is to put before those you're leading with a clear and concise vision. If they see your vision and it's clear and it's understandable and it's attainable, they look at that and it becomes important to them. And what happens when it becomes important to them? Well, they're going to show up. They're going to follow through and they're going to stick with it. And when that happens, man, your vision is off and running. And that's a really cool thing. But it becomes your responsibility as a leader to put that before them. And so we look at commitment. Why do we need to mobilize and sustain commitment? Well, I think the answer to that, there's several reasons for that. But when you stop and think about commitment, committed people, the more committed people you have, the more influence that they can show to others. And I think I should rephrase that. The more committed people you have, it's the effectiveness of their influence. I guess that's where I want to go with this. See, because when you have a team who is committed, they're going to show up, they're going to follow through, and they're going to stick with it, and they're going to see it through to the end. Now, that is influential to people who are kind of like on the sideline. They're not really committed, or they're not really dedicated to the cause or the ministry. But when they see constantly your team members showing up, following through and sticking with it, that's influential to them, because what's happening is they're seeing your reward coming in the successes of your vision. When you get it carried out, when something is accomplished and it comes out awesome, or whatever the case may be, that's influential. So that's one reason. The more people you have committed, the greater their influence. The other thing is that people who are committed, they don't take discouragement very hard. Yeah, sure, they're going to get discouraged and things are going to happen, but it's almost as if, you know what, I'm in this for the long haul. I'm persevering through this, and yeah, I'm discouraged, but guess what I'm going to do? I've already shown up, so now I'm following through, and not only am I following through, but I'm sticking with it. It's perseverance, and Paul talks about perseverance throughout the New Testament, throughout the book of Galatians and in Romans. Persevere, sticking with it. Yeah, you're going to run through hard times, but you know what? I am dedicated to this because it's important to me. Just like me and my family. Guess what? I'm committed to my family. I'm dedicated to my family. And because of my dedication, I'm going to be completely involved with my family. Are there going to be hard times? You bet. Am I going to struggle? You bet. But I am committed. Why? Because I see the importance. They are important to me. So that is commitment from a leadership standpoint. See, when people who are committed working together, what happens is there's a higher level of cooperation. And so when there is that higher level of cooperation, man, there are some things that are shared through that. Commitment fosters camaraderie, trust, caring, because I know that if you show up and I show up, we have each other's back because we're committed to this. I'm doing this because it's important. You're doing this because it's important. So there's a camaraderie, there's a trust, there's caring. These are some things that your ministry needs to keep going for the long haul. See, when people are committed to the effort for a long time, there are going to be things that they learn that they might not know now, but they're going to learn it to become more effective. And yeah, sure, we need time to figure things out and try things out and make mistakes and figure out a strategy that works. But that only comes by committing. That only comes by showing up, by following through, and by sticking together. And so when you as a leader can foster commitment within your team, man, it's going to grow. Your ministry is going to grow. Your people are going to grow because they're going to be able to work together and feel successful together in what they do. They can make decisions together. They can support one another's leadership. They can overcome obstacles together. They can appreciate and respect one another, hold each other to higher standards, and build relationships. And most important, they're going to be able to experience victory together because they committed, they've shown up, they've followed through, and they've stuck with it. And they've saw it to the end, and there are rewards in the successes of that being carried out. So this is what commitment looks like in the life of a leader. Now, you as a leader personally, some big things that are really important, and that are the big three that we just talked about: showing up, following through, and sticking with it. You have to model that as a leader when you're developing your own team. You have to model, you know what, I don't really feel like showing up today, but I'm committed to this, so I'm gonna show up. You have to model, I gotta follow through on this. I don't really want to finish it because it's daunting or it's boring or whatever, but I've committed to it, so now I have to follow through. You have to model that, and then you got to stick it out. You got to model all three of these things. That's perseverance. And when you model commitment to those that you are leading, you become an influence in their lives. And when they see you doing it as a leader, they're going to want to do it. And that's how you mobilize and sustain commitment throughout your ministry, throughout your life, your career, your family, whatever it is that you're doing as a leader. Commitment is a huge piece to implement to get your leadership to that next level. Well, that's all I have for today. I hope it was beneficial for you, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Peace out.